Gee, it takes that long to get that thing started? I'm going to have to click start like at the 45-second point. Yeah, if it's going to take over 15 seconds to start, then I'm going to have to click at the 45-second point. Remember that. 6 minutes. And what? 6 minutes and 45 seconds. Right. Speaking of starting, from the WDWL TV multiplex with great anticipation, we bring you the pride of the station, the grumpy old man, me. And you're who again? Oh, the grumpy vulture. You want to take a bow? Take a bow. Okay, take a bow. Take a bow. Be nice. Get the banner up there. That's it. Take your bow. Okay. Banner's a little crooked. Two demerits. No roadkill for you tomorrow. Look at the... There you go. Get this out of the way. Honey, Kathy, how are ya? Since I changed things around, everybody's wondering when I got to get this out of the way. When I readjusted the background in the camera, when I put Idiot on the desk, only about this much of his head showed. So I have to put a riser up. So when he goes back into his corner, I have to put the riser back down. Oh, no. Oh, Sherry. Oh, my God. I am so sorry to hear that. Oh, man. Oh, my God. Oh, sweetheart. You got... Oh, my God. My heart goes out to you, dear. That kind of explains why you haven't been around. Oh, man. And I was going to tell you, you missed a good show the other day because Miguel was here, and so was Sarah Fredo. man. I am so sorry to hear that, Sherry. But for what it is, dear, he's out of his misery now. He's fought a hell of a battle, and it seemed like every time he got up, something knocked him down. Oh, Jesus. Well, you don't have to stick around there. I wouldn't expect you to, but I am so sorry to hear that. Oh my God. That is so sad. But he did fight a courageous battle. I'll say that. Right. He's at peace. He suffered a lot, but I'll tell you what, he fought it till the end. He really did. He I would have given up long ago. I give him credit. I would have given up long. I wouldn't have. But I am really. I'm so. Oh, even though I never met him, just because I know you, I feel like he's part of the family. So, my condolences, dear. I'll let Junior know too. Even though neither one of us knew him, we both know you. So, and if Miguel and Sarah pop in, I'll let them know. I learned something the other night. I knew Miguel before he worked at the hospital, and never knew it. Never made the association. But yeah, they were both here the other night. Matter of fact, they were asking about you. I said, yeah, Sherry pops in now and then. You you give the whole family my condolences, dear. I'm man, that oh God. That just ruined the evening. Yeah, Sherry, you ever see when Timmy pops in? Timmy was my next door neighbor. Matter of fact, I grew up with his mother. And Timmy and Miguel went to school together. From like grade school, and Miguel probably was over in Timmy's yard hanging out with him. I'd be over there with Timmy's father drinking a beer and never realized who Miguel was until Timmy said, hey, we went to school together. Talk about a small goddamn world. Yeah, if you don't have to hang around there. I mean, it's up to you. Oh man, that just Jesus. In the back of my mind, I was like, well, one of these days he's coming home. Well, unfortunately, he's going home, but not to the home that we ever. Well, we're all going to be going to that home someday, but he fought a courageous battle, and it's I'm speechless. Oh, Jesus. Yeah, well, that's what they tell everybody. Because if you sit and you mope, it makes it worse. And there's a lot of people like, oh, leave Sherry alone. No, you need people around you. You need to bring your spirits up. That's like I tell everybody, the day they pat me in the face with a shovel, have a fucking party. The Irish, they had it right. The Irish have it right the way they do funerals. Throw a big fucking party. Yeah, Sherry, but he fought it till the end. Even though he was, in misery, he had something to live for, of possibly coming home. And being, normal again. The sad thing is, when the guy upstairs calls your name, it's not like maybe tomorrow. But he's in a better place now. No pain, no suffering, no agony. A lot of people look down, a lot of seniors look down on that. It's the younger generation's way of sending someone off. You celebrate their life. You don't mourn it. You like I say, I want people to throw a big fucking party when I go. I'll tell you what, I already have music picked out. Now, whether my son will play it, I told him, have a memorial service. Here's the music I want played. And you better put my ashes on the mantle so that I can see you every minute. As a matter of fact, I sent an email off this morning to the Cincinnati College of Mortuary Science. I want all the paperwork. I told them, send me all the paperwork. I'll get it all notarized and send it back. And when I take that last breath, they can take me down to Cincinnati, carve me up, and then the old cremation. Like I tell all my friends, when I go, I want to be cremated because it'll be the only time I'll have a really hot body. Okay, sick joke. Sherry, I believe in cremation 100%. It's bullshit to spend $20,000, $25,000, $30,000 to put a box in the ground. I'm donating my body to the Mortuary Science, Cincinnati College of Mortuary Science. Let some kids learn anatomy and how to embalm a body, and then they can put me in the oven and send the ashes back to my kid, and it's free. They do that as a courtesy for the donation. And we got to keep them colleges going. So, God, I remember, hey, Jenny, how are you? How you doing there? We got some bad news, Jenny. Sherry's husband passed away yesterday. We had our fingers crossed that he'd come home someday, but unfortunately, he lost the valiant fight. So I want to hear you're doing all right, Jenny. Yeah, a couple of years ago, you know, it really pisses me off how funeral directors really prey on your emotions. And when my buddy passed, the one I got the microphones from, luckily her son went up to the funeral home because they kept pushing, oh, don't you want this casket here? It's solid bronze and it seals, and your loved one will be protected, forever. And her son said, "What? We ain't buying no $10,000 casket." And the funeral director got pissed off, and they went somewhere else. All that funeral director was looking to see how much money he could make. As a matter of fact, after I had talked to my buddy's son, they ended up. Now, he always wanted to be cremated. Why the funeral director was pushing for this bronze casket, although he said, oh, we can cremate that, the funeral director had rental caskets. He was laid out, and when the service was over, they took him to be cremated. The only thing that my buddy's wife had to pay for was the casket rental, and then they charged for a new lining. Because you can't. It was like $1,000 to rent the casket and pay for a new lining. See, that'll be an expense that, my son won't have to worry about. No headstone, no nothing. I told him, I don't even want a fancy urn. If they put me in a cardboard box, I don't care. I ain't around anymore. Didn't I like this? We gotta kind of lighten the mood here. Although that was a sad way to start, but even though I never met, well, I never met a lot of the husbands working at the hospital. But just, I worked with Sherry for so long. Although it was one of the few places, we were like a big family. I tell people that, they're like, oh, how can you work in a hospital and it be like a big family? It was. That's like when my father passed. He always wanted to be cremated. Well, being a veteran, he got a free grave and a free headstone. So they took advantage of it, buried his ashes, and people don't know what's under that headstone. They don't know if it's a big casket or if it's a box of ashes. But I think it's ridiculous, because most places you have to buy a vault, which is a big concrete box that they put the casket in. And then they seal the lid on the concrete box. Talk about expense. I heard the average funeral today is like 25 grand. Put that money to better use. Gee, the family could use it. But these funeral directors, they just prey on the people. Don't get me started. Like I say, had my buddy's wife been by herself making those arrangements, oh, they'd have taken advantage of her something fierce. And being greedy, what did the funeral director get? Nothing. Because he grabbed his mother by the arm and said, "We're going somewhere else, Mom." Well, I do agree, pre-planning, it takes a real load off, the family. And I know, although the Catholic Church has somewhat changed their thinking about cremation, but I think it's ridiculous to pay all that money. And, caskets now, they got all kinds of fancy paint jobs and, they'll airbrush whatever you want. Who sees it? Once they put it in the ground, who sees all that fancy airbrushing and paint work on it? I have seen a lot over the years, and the more I see, the less I want to deal with a funeral director. Here's something that really gets me. I've got a funeral home up the street. Okay, it's right up on the corner. The funeral director drives a Bentley. Now, if that isn't flashing greed, he has a Bentley. It's a Bentley Bentayga. It's the Bentley SUV, about $300,000. Yeah, drives a Bentley. Now, most people have no idea what he's driving. I do. Yeah, Sherry. And how does he get loaded? Gouging the shit out of his customers. I drove past one day and I looked and I went, And I turned around and I pulled in the parking lot. And I was like, holy shit. He has the nerve to drive a Bentley and then park it right in the back at the rear entrance for everybody to see. But the average person probably thinks it's a Ford Explorer or a GMC Denali, because everything today looks alike anyway. But Grumpy knows them flying wings. It's right at 132nd and Lorraine, Sloan Funeral Home. Used to be Carino's, and then Carino sold it. It's Sloan Funeral Service or whatever that. It's Sloan, right 132nd and Lorraine. Hey, we got a new face in the crowd. You went to Sloan? You didn't see the Bentley in the parking lot? We haven't seen Ron in here before. Welcome. See, part of the problem is you can't tell one vehicle from the next. But it is a black SUV. But that black SUV is a Bentley. Well, maybe the Bentley is parked somewhere else, but that Bentley was there a couple months ago. Because I pulled in the parking lot and I was like, what's this? Well, welcome, Ron. You're always welcome here. This is basically what we call it is sitting around the kitchen table having a cup of coffee chat. Maybe, Sherry, maybe he wised up and got rid of it. I doubt it. Yeah, he owns his own cremation service too. I think it's down in the flats. Or no, I know where it's at. Oh, geez. I drove past it. Industrial Park, maybe. Off 150th. I think his cremation service is over there. Because I was looking for a company over on Industrial Park. And I drove past it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where his cremation division is over there. Maybe he wised up and got rid of the Bentley, but it was there a couple months ago because I pulled in. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. But if he took care of you and you got well, then wonderful. I'll quit saying bad things about him. Yeah, if he took good care of you, then fine. I won't say nothing nasty about him anymore. But I thought flaunting a Bentley was a little bit much. Maybe he got rid of it. Maybe it's parked over. I'm going to keep a close eye on the place now. Maybe he leased it. Still, you don't lease a Bentley. I realize, funeral director has to, have a nice, reliable vehicle, especially when, he's escorting a funeral, but a Bentley was a little over reliable for me. See, I used to get 5 different automotive magazine subscriptions. Now I read them all online. Not to mention the other day I happened to watch a documentary on how they build Rolls Royces and Bentleys. But I recognize those wings with the big B in the middle when I pulled in that lot and went, whoa. You know what? Ask him. If you don't see it, say, didn't you have a Bentley Bentayga? If he's honest, he'll say yes. He had a Bentley Bentayga. It's a Bentley SUV. 300 grand. Like I say, maybe he was leasing it. And then again, maybe it's not parked around there. Yeah, most funeral directors, Cadillacs or Lincoln. I got no problem with that. Because funeral directors have had Cadillacs and Lincolns forever. But a Bentley? Come on. That's something you'd see out in Hollywood. Where they expect to see something like that. All right, sweetheart. Take care. If you don't come back, don't worry. I'm really sorry to hear you. Oh, what a way to start the show. Oh, like I say, Kathy, my father had nothing but Cadillacs. Nothing but every 4 years, brand new Cadillac, brand new. And I told you how I used to buy him. He looked like a bum that fell out of a dumpster. I never forget the last one he bought. The goddamn salesman insulted the shit out of him. He looked like a bum that rolled out of a dumpster, and the salesman said, I think these cars might be a little too expensive for you. And then he said, is Chuck happen to be here? And the salesman was, Mr. DeLorean? Yeah, Chuck. Tell him I'm here to see him. The salesman was like, well, who should I see? Tell him Wally's here. The salesman's like, oh, Chuck ain't going to come out and see you. But he went in the back and he said, Chuck, there's some guy by the name of Wally. It looks like he slept in a dumpster last night. Chuck, I'm running out in the showroom. Wally, how are you, buddy? Come on back to my office. I always wondered if the salesman still had a job. That was the last Cadillac he bought. When he got home from the service, he took his they had some kind of GI money you could get. Took his GI money and said, you know, I spent 4 years over in goddamn France fighting the goddamn Germans. I deserve a Cadillac. Bought himself a Cadillac, and every 4 years, bought a Cadillac. Matter of fact, he was the only one in the neighborhood that owned a Cadillac. Everybody thought he had money. Little did they know. You know, it's sad that they did away with the Mercury division. In my lifetime, I have seen so many cars disappear. You know, Packard, DeSoto, Plymouth, Mercury. Trying to think what others. American Motors. You know, Nash Rambler, Packard. I remember my uncle drove nothing but DeSotos until they quit making them. He always had a big black DeSoto. My neighbor had nothing but Mercuries all his life. He swore by Mercuries. And I told him, I said, well, a Mercury is nothing more than a fancy Crown Victoria. Oh, gee, those were fighting words. Mercuries are better than Fords. They're built in the same assembly line. Hello? The engine don't say Mercury, it says powered by Ford. Same frame, same everything, same body. Oh, Mercuries are better. Okay. I had one neighbor that drove nothing but Buicks. Couldn't pronounce Buick. I like my Bukes. Your what? My Buick. It's Buick. That's what I said, Buick. Okay. Every time he bought a new one, he would park it in the front yard, on the driveway out front, for about a month, so that everybody in the neighborhood saw he bought a new car. Then he parked it in the back. Everybody knew when he had a brand new Buick, because it was parked out front. Yeah, it's sad that how. And then, like now, Dodge, they're electric. An electric Dodge. No more good old gasoline suckers. Bad enough they're doing away with V8 engines. Jesus. Although, you open the hood, it don't even look like a goddamn engine. Boy, here's something amazing. I haven't driven the RAV4 since October when the fuel system went out on me. Today, for the hell of it, I decided, well, let me see if I need a new battery. I put the key in the ignition, 12.1 volts. I was like, holy shit. I don't have to buy a battery, thank God. Now all I got to do is get her running. I opened the door, I sat in it, and I was like, oh, I miss this little thing. And Mary Ann was looking over the fence going, when are you going to get it running? Oh, give me time. I got all the parts, I'll fix it. That's the problem with being the next door neighbor. That's her old vehicle, which she gave me. And seeing it sitting, I know it irritates the shit out of her. The one day she said to me, why don't you just junk it and get it over with? I said, what? You want me to junk your RAV4? I said, I'll be driving as soon as the weather gets better. Give me a break. I got all the parts in it. I double-checked today. I've got every part that I need. I will have it running as soon as the weather gets a little warmer. It's a little too cold for me to be laying underneath a vehicle right now. Although, Kathy, I went out and I used my Weed-O-Matic today. Man, did it saw through them weeds. Holy shit. I couldn't believe it. Because they were 3 foot tall in my backyard. I just started. I got halfway through the yard. I used both batteries. I was like, well, that's it for today. I got them on charge. I'll go out and finish the other half tomorrow. But, oh, well worth the money. Well worth the money. Good old Timo come through again. Matter of fact, I'm thinking of buying another one. Just in case. Not to mention they're coming down in price. I was impressed. Oh. And I'll tell you what, I'm not easy to impress. But that thing It worked like a charm until I used up both batteries. I'm going to go up to the battery shop up the street and see if he carries batteries that size. Or if he can order them, because I'd like to get a couple more. Had I had 2 more batteries, I could have finished the other half of the yard. But that thing was cutting them weeds like a hot knife going through butter. And I had some trees growing back there. I recommend it. Anybody that wants one. As a matter of fact, I saw a couple of mini saws on Temu today. And they were like $18, $20 some. I was like, I'd almost take a chance on one, although I got a good one. So I don't. How many mini saws do you need? But that weed whacker, oh, I was impressed. I really was. I looked at that. I looked at the weeds. I looked at the weed whacker. It was like, I don't know. And then I started. Weeds were flying everywhere. Matter of fact, Mary Ann said she's so impressed she's going to buy one now. Proven. Gets Grumpy, it gets the thumb up from Grumpy. So now I'll get the weeds whacked down low enough. I'll run the lawnmower back there through it. And it'll be good for a couple of months. Although, when the deer come back, they'll be like, what the hell did he do? I didn't trim the big shrub, though. They can hide under the big shrub. I didn't trim the big shrub. I'm going to leave the big shrub alone. But all the weeds are gone. They'll walk back there and go, holy shit, he ruined our home. We're not coming back here ever again. Really, it irritates me that Mama Deer never came back. Although I was watching the eaglets again today, I think the boys are getting ready to leave the nest. The one was getting pretty good air today. Flapping them wings, hopping up and down. I'm thinking, oh, don't fall out of the nest, please. Yeah, never come back, Kathy. She never came back. After that dog chased her, she never came back. I hope that maybe she went down in the valley and had her little one. But I would have loved to, because she'd have been around for a couple of months. Hey, Stan, how are you? Hayes woodcrafting. That sounds interesting. And I think my damn mic went into echo mode. Oh, I hate when it does this. I hate when it goes into echo mode. Damn it. Ugh. Nothing I can do about it. I have to put up with it. Thanks for popping in, Stan. I appreciate you. It's nice when people pop in and say hi. Always welcome. It's like today, I went up for smokes, and they were out of cookies because the delivery driver quit. So my shipment of cookies didn't come in. So I needed a little thing of sour cream. So I go back in the cooler, and I'm looking at the expiration date, and I was like, uh-oh. Took one out. Nope. Took a second one out. Nope. Took the third one out. Nope. Took the fourth one out. Oh, a good one. Brand new one. The delivery guy didn't check the expiration date. And they expired May 7th. So, who comes in with Mom? Little Pixie. She spots me and she runs back. And she goes, "No cookie?" I said, "Yeah, I know, no cookies." So I took the 3 expired sour creams out. I handed them to her. I said, "Here, give these to Mom. Tell her no good." She's running up to the front of the store with the 3 containers of sour cream going, "Funny man says no good." Everybody in the store is looking like, who the hell's Funny Man? So she gives them to Mom, and Mom's looking at them. And evidently Mom couldn't figure out the expiration date. And little Pixie kept saying, "Funny man say no good. No put back. No good." I don't know what Mom did with them, but little Pixie told her no good. But it was funny. She come barreling back. "No cookie." I said, "Yeah, I know, no cookies." I said, "Cookie man bad. You tell him when he comes in." And nobody wants to goddamn work anymore. Now, I don't know how much the delivery driver was making, but up and quit? Yeah, Dad was telling me. The guy come in one day, goes, "I quit." Turned around, went home. Here's a loaded truck waiting to be delivered. No driver. And no cookies. Although I know for sure when the cookies come in, little Pixie will make sure I get my cookies. Yeah, she come back there. No cookie. I said, "Yeah, I know." She had a neat, sorry, I think that's what they call it, royal blue today, with all kinds of gold on it. Man, they put a shitload of gold on their fancy clothes. Now she got the red one with all the gold. She got a blue one with all the gold. Had the scarf over her shoulder or whatever they call it. Mom comes in with her scarf over her shoulder. Little Pixie got her scarf over her shoulder. They must have come from church. Now I'm getting ready to leave, and Mom's like, "See you tomorrow." I said, No, not tomorrow. She was, how come no? How come no? I said, I got my cigarettes. I don't buy cigarettes every day. She, oh, okay. See you tomorrow. Yep, see you tomorrow. But that was priceless. She come back so sad looking. No cookie. I said, yeah, I know. No cookie. Drive her bad. And the thing that amazes me is Dad said, she is so shy. I don't know what it is about me. Not shyer on me. No cookie. I know, no cookie. Here, tell Mom, bad sour cream. Mom just looked at it like, eh. You know, I've noticed, like on sour cream, cottage cheese, chip dip, they put the expiration date on so fucking tiny, you can't read it. I was like, what the hell? Matter of fact, I've noticed on everything, expiration dates are getting smaller. I don't know why, but they're getting... And you ever try to read and figure out an expiration date on canned goods? It's like a Chinese dictionary. They don't want you to know it's expired, that's why. It's like the other day, I needed buns. I'm looking for the expiration date, and it was so goddamn tiny on the package, I couldn't make it out. Although, the Clippy, they're all different colors. And the freshest are either on the back of the shelf or underneath. So the first thing I do is I look to see what color the Clippy is on the package on the top. And then I'll look. And if the Clippy is a different color on the package in the back, those are mine. Those are the freshest ones. Just trying to read expiration dates. On most items, it'll say, May such and such 2025. Try to figure out on the bottom of a can. All it is a code. Like, years ago, they would stamp, expires, June 2020. Okay. If you don't know the code, you're screwed. Somebody's at the door. Damn it. Why do people, can't they read signs? I guess I couldn't yell. I couldn't yell. Telling me to check my backyard to make sure nothing's on fire. The neighbor behind her, and I noticed it when I was trimming weeds, had this big pile of trash in the backyard, limbs, and he set it on fire. She said she called the fire department because goddamn hot ashes were blowing into her yard. People are idiots. You're not allowed open burning. God, we've had burning ordinance since the 80s. I saw it. It was a big, limbs and leaves, and instead of cleaning up, they set it on fire. So she told me there were hot ashes blowing all over the place. So she called the fire department. I said, good. I hope the fire department cites them too. I can't yell at Mary Ann. But since you're allowed to have fire pits, people think that you can just start a fire. Cleveland has specific ordinances. First of all, the fire pit can't be any more than 30 inches in diameter. It also has to be 50 feet from a structure. Plus, you cannot burn in April, May, October, or November. Even if you have a fire pit in your backyard, you can't use it. That's why, they make them propane fire pits and that. This idiot set fire to the big pile of shit in their backyard. Just, here we go. Yeah, she said she was sitting in her kitchen smelling smoke. Walks out in her backyard, hears hot ashes blowing all over, and here's the idiot got a big bonfire going. So she said, I called the fire department. Good. I hope they get like $1,000 ticket. Although, I was telling her, I remember back when I was a little kid growing up, people would rake their leaves out to the curb in the street and burn them. It was nothing to drive up and down through the neighborhood and see leaves burning at the curb. Well, Cleveland finally passed an ordinance, no open burning, but I remember my father doing it. We'd rake the leaves into the street and set them on fire. They're ready. I remember once I tried roasting marshmallows. Oh, man. Talk about a nasty taste. Burnt leaf marshmallows. Oh, really? I never paid that close attention to the people. Oh, interesting to know. I There were a couple that I would recognize because he would mention them almost every day. Like, who was the one that would super chat all the time? I should remember his name. He would super chat constantly. But I never really paid attention to the people, especially after he banned me. I would just kind of sneak in and see what he was talking about halfway through his stream because I didn't want to hear goddamn roll call. Well, there's a lot of defectors from Kaiser's chat. Glenn Harlow, yes. Oh, God, I should remember that goddamn name. Yeah, good old $4 super chat, Glenn Harlow. Hey, Brandy, how are ya? Oh, I'll pay close attention now. See, that's why I got. That's what I love it. My chat's got my back. Because, yeah, good old 499 Glenn Harlow. Just to hear his name. Because he knew if he paid for a chat, Kaiser would mention him. Sarah, do you have do you have Sherry's phone number? Her husband passed away yesterday. If you got her number, you might want to give her a call. She was just in a little while ago to tell us. And then she was getting a phone call. She said she had to go. But if you've got her number, give her a buzz. I'm sure she'd appreciate hearing from you. You know, he would spend at least $20 a night. I don't know if that guy's made of money or what. But he would spend at least $20 a night in super chat so he could hear his name, get his comment read. I couldn't believe the guy. I'm like, God, you got that much money to throw away? Every single night, at least $20 in super chats, just to hear his name and get his comment read. I hope Sarah's got Sherry's number. I'm sure she would appreciate hearing from her since the two of them work together. Oh, Ron, hate to hear that, man. Well, good thing you survived it. I hope you're on the mend. That's what scares me because it runs in the family. I researched it. My great grandfather, my grandfather, and my father all massive heart attacks. Yeah, glad you're still around. Take care of yourself. Obey doctor's orders. Hey, Sherry, Sarah was just here. I told her if she's got your number to call you. Sarah just popped in. And then she must have popped back out. I don't know if you two had each other's numbers, but I told her if she's got your number to give you a call. You'd appreciate hearing from her. Because I'm pretty sure both of you work together. If Miguel pops in, I don't know if you guys ever exchanged phone numbers, But if Miguel pops in, I'll tell him same thing if he's got your number to call you. Yeah, the two of you need to hook up. Yeah, Linda, if Glenn just commented in the chat, Kaiser wouldn't read it. So, in order to get his chat read, he'd pay for it. But he'd shell out 20, 25 bucks every single goddamn night. The guy must have been a gazillionaire. Because I'm sure that he was a member. What was Kaiser, $4.99 a month? So I'm sure besides the $4.99 a month for his membership, he was shelling out 20, 25 bucks every night. Oh my God. Really? Holy shit. God damn. No, this in in certain situations. Now, I can't put your chat up on the screen. My software doesn't have that capability. If you're using a different platform, in order, people, they want to see their name. So they would pay what they call a super chat. And then their name would get put up on the screen for everybody to see, not to mention for them to see. I'm not monetized. So you couldn't pay me anyway. That's why I like it this way. Anybody can say what they want and it don't cost them a dime. It would be nice to be monetized, but I'd need like 10,000 subscribers. No, you don't have to pay nothing, Sherry. Nobody has to pay nothing. Whether they want to say something nice or nasty about me, I don't care. See, Linda, if I had time to kill, I would pop in to watch Kaiser's stream. Just really to keep track of Glenn Harlow's super chats. Yeah. Not $5, not $4, $4.99. Really? I didn't look today. All right. Back up to 92. Cool. Yeah, I didn't even bother to look today. That's because I watched my playback today on Faceplant rather than watching it on my YouTube channel. So I didn't even bother to look. That's cool. Back up to 92. All right. 8 more to go. 8 more to go to hit the big 100. No party. That's cool. See, it figures. The days I don't look, I made my evening now. Back up to my 92. Now all we got to do is pitch for 8 more, so I can hit the 100. Cool. Glad to hear that one. Yeah, it's hilarious with my subscribers. I'll get, like I was at 92 and then it dropped down. Although I was stuck at 30 forever. And then I got to 60. And then good old Nomad, boy, he was putting links in everywhere. And it shot up from 60 to 80 something. The old Nomad took care of me, popping links in every place he saw. And then it was funny the other night. Here I am talking about Australia, and who pops in? Mears. Oh, I know, Linda. I wasn't You know, I wasn't slighting you. I appreciate, everything everybody does. But it was amazing. Nomad started popping and things started growing. And then the time change hit, damn it. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Like I say, we're sitting around the kitchen table, having a cup of coffee, just talking about what's ever on our mind. I've given up on topics. I used to figure out a topic and write a little script, no more. Just whatever comes to mind, that's the way we're going to run it. We'll leave the topics for Scotto and Shiz and Hill Pirate and Ned Flanders. I wonder if Ned Flanders got his puppy yet. I'm going to have to email him and ask him if he's got his puppy yet. I bet you his cats will really appreciate that. They'll look down at that and go, oh, God. What did you bring home? Although, I'll talk about what's hilarious. Marianne has 2 dogs. And she's got 3 cats. And she said she'll sit down and watch TV at night, and all of them get in the middle of the living room floor and sleep together. Oh boy, sounds like fun. Oh yeah, Nomad took good care of me. He made me a neat logo. One of these days I gotta figure out how to put it up. Yeah, he made a neat logo for the channel. But I don't know how to. I'm lucky I can come on here and chat at night, let alone put up a logo. I keep telling one day I'll figure out how to, because it would be nice to start the program with it. Just have the logo on the screen and play the introductory music and then switch to me and the bird. Matter of fact, he made me, to go with the logo, a grumpy old man walking with a bunch of buzzards around his feet. I don't know how to pick that up either. Oh, he does amazing stuff. God, I wish I had his talent. Yeah, Marianne says the middle of her living room floor is just one big pile of animals. The 2 dogs and 3 cats all snoozing together. That's all I'd have to do would bring a dog in. Boots would kill me. He'd fix me. He'd go back to emptying everything that had water in it. Although I catch him every now and then. He'll walk in the bathroom and kind of take a look, like, oh, did they leave the lid open for me? No. As a matter of fact, you know what amazes me? Marianne will let all of her animals out in the backyard, and her cats stay in the yard. I'd let mine out, he'd be gone. I looked over there today. The cats and the dogs were laying in the driveway, just looking around. Although she's got a way with animals. I swear she talks animal. She's the animal whisperer. At one time, she had 8 cats. She took in every stray in the neighborhood. Matter of fact, the cats she's got now, she rescued from up the street. They were out in the cold. She found out who owned them. She went right up, knocked on the door. What are you going to do with these animals? You going to let them in, or are you going to leave them out here in the cold? And the guy said, well, they're doing all right. They got coats. She says, I'm taking them. And she did. Loaded them up in her car, took them home. You don't want to have a stray animal around Marianne. That's like when she moved down to Georgia. She inherited a horse. The house that she bought down there, it came with a free horse. And the horse was blind. And she said the amazing thing is, the pasture she had was like an acre, maybe 2 acres. That blind horse knew every single inch of that pasture. She'd let the horse out in the morning, it'd be trotting all over. Yeah, it's amazing how they get along after a while. First couple of days, there's hissing and spitting and barking, and next thing you know, they're all buddies. That's what she said when she brought them 3 cats home. For 2-3 days, then next thing you know, everybody's all buddies, sleeping together. Cats washing the dogs, you know. Maybe we should take a few hints from animals. I told Marianne my extra large female story today. She thought it was hilarious. She said, you didn't say anything? I said, oh no, that woman has sat on me. Old Grumpy kept his mouth shut. I wasn't going to get in trouble. she couldn't believe it. She goes, "You didn't say anything?" I said, "No, no. I didn't want to get sat on in the parking lot." Yeah, I saw that picture of that polydactyl yesterday. Oh, that's all I was thinking of today. I want a polydactyl. Yeah, Ron, my son's cat is in heat too. It sings all night long. I could kill it. The only problem is I can't get her fixed because the vet said she's got to weigh 5 pounds or more. She weighs an exact 4. She's a little dipsy doodle thing. Abyssinian or I can't remember what breed, but she looks like a kitten. She's 4 years old. Looks like a little kitten. 4 pounds. I put her up on the scale the other day. Doesn't gain an ounce. So we put up with the singing. And it never fails. They always go to a part of the house where it echoes. And my big old male looks at her like, "Oh, shut up." He won't go near her. He just looks at her like, "Oh, Jesus." And then he looks at me like, "How long is this going to go on?" I don't know. Another week. Christ, she comes in heat like every month. But she's neat. She's all black. She got a little white spot under her chin. And she's got white armpits. You lift, she rolls over on her back and lifts her legs, and she's got white armpits. Otherwise, all black. Oh, gee, you have all kinds of fun, don't you, Linda? Jesus. Never a dull moment. Animals keep us going, though. What the hell is a Chiweenie? All these different breeds of dogs. Back when I was growing up, you had a German Shepherd or Doberman Pinscher or a Terrier. Now we got Chiweenie. I never heard of a Chiweenie. That's like a friend of mine's got a cockapoo. I was like, oh, gee. And then my buddy's wife she got a Lhasa Apso. I piss her off. I call it a lopsided asshole. A Chihuahua and a Dachshund. Oh, what a mix. What a mix. Yeah, I like to piss my buddy's wife off. I'll come in the house, I'll say, "Where's your lopsided asshole at?" "That's not. Well, that's what you told me." "No, lots of opso." I said, "Yeah, lopsided asshole." "Get out of my house. Quit insulting my dog." "Well, you're the one that told me it was a lopsided asshole." Oh, I'm glad mine is no longer an escape artist. Oh, I think once I super glued that bead in the screen, and that was the only window I would let him sit in, he finally realized, oh, okay, I have to stay in the house. But I would watch him. He would pick at that bead. And then when he realized once he got the bead out, he could go right out that screen. So the last time I fixed it, I super glued the shit out of it. I feel sorry for anybody that had to replace the screen after me. Yeah, I finally caught him because I couldn't figure out how he was getting out that window. And then I'd see him with his claws picking at the bead. Then when he got it out far enough, I can go outside. I was like, oh, I'll fix your ass. I gorilla glued it, not super glue. I gorilla glued it all the way around. Anybody that has to replace that screen, they just got to throw the framework away now. Buy a new frame. A Chiweenie. I got to ask Marianne if she ever heard of one of them. What a mix. Although that's designer dogs. Everybody's got to have a designer dog. You can't have just an old shepherd anymore. That was like when my buddy had his Doberman Pinscher. People would ask him, "Is that a Doberman Pinscher?" "No, it's not a Doberman Pinscher, it's a Doberman Biter." They'd stay away from the dog. That goddamn dog looked as mean as can be. And he was the biggest baby. Changed my opinion of Dobermans. I always thought they were... No, not his. It was a big baby. That had to be a combination. A Basset Hound Lab mix. I could just picture that. A black lab with legs about that long. Because Basset Hounds are built close to the ground. I never heard of them. Honestly, I never heard of a Chiweenie. Of course, I'm not a big dog person, so. But I know there's all kinds of new breeds. I always wonder who thought that combination up, though. Who thought to breed those two dogs? Or a lab and a basset hound? Who sits and thinks those things up? Like, oh, let's see, I'm going to take an Irish wolfhound and I'm going to breed it with a Chihuahua. That would be a combination. A Chihuahua English wolfhound mix. What would you call it? A chowhound? A chowhound. Although I'll tell you, a dog I would like to have, a Great Dane. The only drawback is, I heard they suffer from something called stomach flop, where their stomachs will flip over, and then if you don't get them to a vet right away, they end up dying from it. Because I remember a friend of mine had a Great Dane, and he said the first thing he had to do was get the stomach stapled. He said, yeah, they suffer from stomach flop. I never heard of stomach flop. I'll stick with my cats. Although I want a Bengal or a Serval. Either one. There's a breeder in southern Ohio, but she wants $3,000. I said not for a pet, no. I think they're cool. I think I'd take the Serval over the Bengal. But if somebody gave me one for free, I wouldn't turn it down. Oh, here we are with the sick jokes. No, I heard Great Danes suffer from that. I don't know what it is with their internal organs, but the stomach will flip over. And then, of course, you know, it pinches the intestines and that, and then they end up dying from it. I was like, geez, you buy a dog, you have to worry about this, that, and another thing. But somebody said it only happens to Great Danes. Like you say, I'm not a dog person. I'm a cat person. And mainly tuxedo cats. I like tuxedos. Yeah, I got too much stuff on my screen. My buddy, when I first got him. Oh, come on. Figures I can't get it to show up now. Come on. Yeah, you can barely see him. There he is. There's my little buddy. Yeah, 22 pounds now. That's when I first got him. when he was a rotten. Ugh. Don't get him anywhere near water. Never had a goddamn cat that loved water. Heinz 57. That's what everybody tells me. If you're going to get a dog, get a mutt. I don't want a dog. I want a polydactyl. I want one even more after I saw that big polydactyl. That cat was laying on its back, had a stomach bigger than the cat that I got. But the feet were really, they look like boxing gloves. I love them. Because they got extra toes on their feet. I'm going to have to ask Marianne what her... The one looks like a beagle. But she told me it's a beagle mix. I'll have to ask her what it is. And then I'll have to ask her what the red one is. I know she told me a couple of times. Well, I'd love to have a Maine Coon. Those cats grow huge. They get like twice the size of a normal goddamn house cat. Maine Coons are neat. But the problem is, you very rarely find them in the rescue shelters. I only get rescue. That's all I get, rescue cats. The rescue place where I get mine, the woman's got she's got the list. If they ever get a rescue in, she calls me. Hey, I got you another. I told her. A Bengal, a Serval, a Maine Coon. She goes, oh, you're not too picky, are you? I said, well, that's what I want for my next cat. Although I'm not so sure how mine would get along with another cat. He's been king of the... Although what was amazing, when my son brought that, whatever it is, Abyssinian, whatever, they got along from the minute they met. No hissing, no spitting, nothing. Although everybody told me, if you're going to bring a cat in, bring a female in. Because I had, at one time, 3 males, and oh my God, did they fight. They all wanted to be the alpha cat. So when my son found this stray wandering around, I asked him, I said, what, a male or female? He goes, she's a female. I said, well, bring her home, we'll try it. Brought her in, opened the carrier. Boots come out in the kitchen, went, oh, a play toy. No hissing, spitting, nothing. He looked at her like, oh, a little play toy. And they got along instantly because it was a female. Had it been another male, there'd have been hissing, spitting. Now he hardly looks at her like, I don't want to be bothered. Go away. But it's amazing. She's going on 5 years old and 4 pounds. She does a little thing. Everybody's like, oh, I like your kitten. That's no kitten. The cat's 5 years old. No. Yes. Little tiny black ball of fuzz. With a white blaze under her neck and white armpits. It's hilarious when she rolls over and lays on her back. White armpits. It's the only white hair on her. Under her front legs and under her chin. Otherwise, jet black. I wonder why that light is flickering. No flickering. You're brand new. Don't give me that shit. I don't know why it flickered. Goddamn brand new light. It's a 3-tone. Cool white, soft white, and daylight. A 3-tone. Yeah, I only deal with rescues and shelters. I ain't giving no breeder a ton of money. All of mine have been rescues. I always say, they deserve a second chance. And everyone I've ever gotten have turned out to be wonderful cats. Although I tried giving this one back 3 times, he wouldn't stay out of the water. Then they finally broke him of it. Like, geez. But like you say, it was hilarious. Anything with water in it, he'd splash the water all over. Except his water bowl. Never touched it. Except to drink from it. I'll never forget the first time I hit him with a spray bottle. He just sat there. Yeah, and I emptied the fucking bottle on him. He just sat there. Yeah, and that all you got? That the best you can do? So what? I'm soaking wet. I was tempted to fill it up again and empty it on him. Everybody tells you, oh, if they scratch on the furniture, squirt them with water. Not mine. Empty the whole goddamn spray bottle on him. He just stood there. Give me that look like, yeah, and? I was supposed to do something? Yeah, you're supposed to run. Nope. Dripping wet, looked like a drowned rat. It stood there. Yeah. Couldn't scare him with that. Well, peoples, I think it's about that time. Getting to be feed the cat time. All right. What did I do with this? Every night I lose my stylus. Jesus. I got it. I found it. Okay. Let's go to the old version, the original. I like it better. We'll meet right here. WDWL TV. 7 p.m. Everybody have a wonderful rest of your evening. And we will meet again tomorrow night. Everyone take care. Thanks for being here. See ya.